Authorities found two foreigners deceased in apartments in Medellin, Colombia at the same time. Let's jump into it. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. And now, news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. I'm DC Rob. I have this same story of two foreigners that are now deceased. I have three actual stories. The first two kind of reference each other. So let me just step through and you'll get why I'm doing this, because there's some slight inconsistencies in between the stories. So let's jump into the first one. Authorities found two foreigners deceased at the same time in apartments in Medellin. The findings were recorded on Tuesday afternoon in the Laureles neighborhood of Laureles and in El Poblado. The deceased were an Irishman and an American. Two foreigners who were born more than 6,600 kilometers from each other passed in Medellin at the same time on Tuesday afternoon and in similar circumstances, according to the authorities' records. The findings of these foreigners were recorded at 6 p.m., one in the Lorena neighborhood in Comuna 11, Laureles Estadio, and another in the residential complex in El Poblado. Both were found in their room after those who rented their rooms entered them after several hours without knowing their whereabouts. The deceased in Laureles is an American identified as Matthew Miller, 42 years old, whom the owner of the property found in a bed of room 702 of the apartment located on Carrera 77 and Calle 41. According to the authorities' records, a veterinary medicine was found next to the bed in the room, and they were investigating whether this could be related to the loss of this American, which at first was believed to be self-inflicted. At the same time, in another apartment located on Carrera 43rd G and Calle 19 in the Villa Carlata neighborhood in Comuna 14, El Poblado, southeast of Medellin, authorities found the body of an Irish citizen identified as Bhupendra Kumar Chhaganlal, 66 years old, who showed no signs of violence nor any strange element that could clarify the reasons for his passing. Initially, it is assumed that this was due to health problems for which he had been receiving treatment in the city since February, when he moved into his apartment. Agents from the Sijin and the Metropolitan Police are making progress in the judicial part to transfer the bodies to the medical examiner's office so that they can fully establish the causes of these losses. The Irish citizen and the American bring the total to 37 foreigners who have passed this year in Medellin in various circumstances, including homicide, self-inflicted, accidental, natural passings, and others that have yet to be established. Americans have recorded the most losses in the city with 17 cases, while the Republic of Ireland has recorded its first case of 2024 in the city. So I want to read this second story about the one gentleman that they say is Irish. In this story, given the same name, they say he's British. He's British with Indian descent. So let's just jump into this. I want to read these three stories just so you have the same information I have and you can decipher it as best you can. It was established that the British citizen suffered from obesity and had comorbidities such as hypertension. On the afternoon of Tuesday, July 16th, in an apartment in Ciudad del Río, Comuna 14 of Medellin, a man of Indian origin and British nationality identified as Parmar Bhupendra Kumar Chhaganlal was found deceased. According to unofficial reports, the woman in charge of cleaning the place entered the apartment last Friday to do the cleaning work. However, when she noticed that the resident was sleeping, she decided to leave without disturbing him and did not notify anyone since the situation was normal. It was not until Tuesday after 3:20 p.m. that the woman returned and found the British individual in the same position and with the same clothes, and already with some signs that the man was not well. So the employee immediately notified the owner of the apartment that had been rented through a short stay platform. The Venezuelan man, owner of the apartment, and the building security guards arrived at the property located on the 27th floor of a building located on Carrera 43rd G and Calle 19 in Ciudad del Río to confirm that the tenant was deceased. At 3:42 p.m., the authorities were alerted of the loss of the foreigner. Parmar Bhupendra Kumar Chhaganlal, 57, did not have any injuries on his body, so his passing remains to be established. He called himself Gene. According to the version given by the authorities, the deceased called himself Gene Unofficial versions say that it could have been because it was so difficult to pronounce his name in Spanish. Parmar Bhupendra Kumar Chhaganlal is said to have paid a hefty sum of money in advance for the rent of the premises for the first 4 months of the year. After the stay expired, he renewed the lease until November. Comorbidity. It was established that the British citizen suffered from obesity. In addition, a medical record found at the place where he lived alone revealed a history of hypertension. His belongings, such as money and a purse, were found at the scene. Even her cell phone were plugged into the power outlet and charging. And now this is always challenging to read. I'm telling you, the pronouns, they will switch from he and a she in a minute. Now, my understanding is from reading these stories that they're both men. But because it's her belongings, such as money and purse, were found at the scene, even her cell phone was plugged into the power charging outlet. I mean, is this a female? This man reading this is just nuts. And this is after editing it enough, so that I can read it. Let me jump into this last story. This one has to do with the American. Urgent. An American was found deceased in a building in Laureles. This loss is being investigated. According to unofficial versions, Miller Matthew Aaron sent a few hours earlier a farewell letter to his ex-girlfriend, a young model from Paisa. The night of Tuesday, July 16th, an American man was found deceased in an apartment in Laureles. The man, identified as Miller Matthew Aaron, is said to be a social media promoter for OnlyFans. Authorities were alerted at 6:30 p.m. of the passing of the 42-year-old man, who apparently made the decision to end things after having financial problems. His relatives say that the man suffered from depression and had a fatal personality disorder, and that he was very depressed in recent days because he had lost his company, which was a social network with adult content, so he was being medicated. The last time he was seen alive was this Tuesday around 9 in the morning, when he was taking the elevator in the building where he lived to go up to his apartment, sending a farewell letter. According to unofficial reports, Miller Matthew Aaron had sent a farewell letter a few hours earlier to his girlfriend, a young model from Paisa, from which he had a romantic relationship and with whom he broke up just a month ago. In the message sent via telegram, those who read it say that the man explained that he had felt alone, that he had lost his company, his money, his friends, and even his girlfriend. So he considered that his life had no meaning. Faced with such a message, Aaron's ex-girlfriend immediately went with 3 friends to the building located in Laureles at the corner of Carrera 77 and Calle 41. Once there, they asked the employee in charge of the doorman to accompany them to the apartment located on the 7th floor, as they had received a disturbing message that predicted a fatal outcome. Upon entering the premises, they found the American lying on the bed on his left side, wearing only Bermuda shorts and already deceased. The foreigner entered the country on May 29th, according to official documents, although it is known that he had been living in the city for approximately 3 years. Self-inflicted is being investigated. The American is believed to have ingested a strong medication used to euthanize animals, which is believed to have caused his passing. So you see, this does not seem like anyone on the outside created harm to either of these individuals. More information is going to come out, of course, and hopefully they can pin down if that first one, the Indian British, was male or female. The pronouns are scary sometimes when you're reading it. Try it. It's difficult after it's been translated. Anyway, unfortunate news. Again, prayers and good thoughts to the family, to the friends, to the acquaintances of these people. It's just not enough information right now to go on. Obviously, we can make our own judgment. We can try to create a story in our head, but without the proper information, and we're just totally guessing. So the best we can do right now is send prayers. And I also want to stop and say again, if anyone is feeling like they are in dire need of assistance, they are feeling that dread of being alone, they just broke up with someone, they just lost their business, they just lost their money, those things you can get back. You can get another girlfriend, you can get more friends. I mean, please do not take this as a personal threat against your being, whereas you don't even want to be here anymore. Please listen, speak to someone. Speak to someone. If you are a vet, there are places. Now we know Danilo is there and he is going to get the call for these 2 losses. So I'll find out soon if they're military as well. But please, if you find yourself and you are just stressed to the point, and I'm telling you, I've been hooked on watching these stories, these court stories recently, and some of these cases and fighting over kids. And, it is, man, relationships are tough. Relationships are tough. And if you have kids involved too, it's really unfair to them. And some of these guys, and I will say guys, because most of the cases that I watch are the women just nuts. I don't know if it's because all these 10, 15 channels I'm watching are focusing on the crazy women, or just in fact, they're all crazy women. But I'm telling you, it is nuts. It is nuts. Some of the stuff that these guys have to go through just to see their kids or have their kids taken away, or protective orders. I'm learning all these new lingo ad litem, and somebody's got to watch out for the kids, the guardian ad litem. And there's so much to this. But when you feel that, and everybody in their life at some point is going to have that feeling that, I can't speak for everybody else. I can just speak for myself, and that, yeah, I've had those feelings over my lifetime. I mean, come on, I'm 61. So yeah, I've been through a lot. First, I guess when I was 15, 16, I had a girlfriend break up with me. But you got to realize tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming, and you can change everything. Do not take this to the personal where you feel like you should not be here. We are all supposed to be here. We all chose to be here. Let's get the best out of this life. Again, slow things up when things are going good. And when things are challenging, just remember, this too shall pass. This feeling of dread, this feeling of happiness, this feeling of sorrow, this feeling of laughter is all going to come and go. So take hold of the good and hold on to it. And for the bad, remember, this too shall pass. Remember, do not give up. Do not give up. I'm talking to somebody. Do not give up. Do not give up. Life is here for all of us. Let's enjoy the good moments. And again, the challenging times, and there's challenges going to be in our lives, and they're there for a reason. Once you can overcome them challenges, things get better. I mean, think about it. Every challenge you've had, you feel like you've been held. You broke through that, and now you're here, and you feel like there's something else, and you broke through that. You can do the same every day. Every day it's a new day. So when I text people in the morning, hey, good morning. It's a blessing. We're seeing another day. Let's be thankful for these days that we have. But again, more information will come out on the stories, I'm sure, within the next day or so. I hate that I have to read these stories, but again, it is news and it has to do with foreigners, hence the reason I put it out. And for those who don't want to know this information, I can just suggest that you watch another channel. But for those who want to be aware of where you're going to go, it doesn't matter where it is. It could be Thailand, because in Thailand, we just lost 5 or 6 foreigners poisoned. And so I have that story on the back burner too, which I will be reporting soon. But you're up to date with the latest out of Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe.
Yo. Yo, it's DC Raw, beat the stream, daily dose. East Coast swagger, hit you with that travel pros. Colombia trips, Medellin tips on the real. Stay safe, stay aware, what's the deal? News on lock, know the blocks before you walk. Stick to the tours, avoid that shady talk. Urban jungle, vibes for miles is hot. Keep your eyes and ears open, dots to connect the plot. For your journey, pack your mind, strap it tight. Travel safe insurance, just in case, day or night. Rob's the plug, got the news tips to thrive. Medellin's your oyster, just stay wise and stay alive. Link up or sink, use the wisdom, that's your shield. Guided tours, soak the culture, streets revealed. Wondrous spots, safe zones, that's the key. DC Rob's the name, bringing you the clarity. Roll smart, roll deep with that travel wisdom. Medellin's a charm, minus the hazards that glisten. Follow the guide, navigate the pave. DC Rob, for your peace, make that trip safe. Hit the airport, got the passport stamped clean. Dream destination, life a vibrant scene. Cautious moves is your grooves, play your part. DC Rob coming through, future-proof streets